Hey guys, Jim Bounds at Motorhome Rehab Ranch, and we're just about finished with the front end of this. We're going to put it all back together. If you remember on previous videos, this grill is held on by springs, right? I'm going to show you how this goes. Oh, wait. Yes, there's one other thing that we need to talk about underneath here. Well, it's actually not here because we talked about the wiper motor and the hoses and all this stuff. But we haven't talked about the wiper yet. All right. Now, I know I have one guy that's going to be very excited about this because he's been waiting for me to do this. So the original wiper came out of the GMC truck division. Okay. Unfortunately, that makes the refills generally a truck refill. And you'll have to go to a truck stop or Napa or something like that. You won't be able to buy refills at Walmart. Okay? Another problem with it, as you folks that have one, at rest, it stops like up in here. And it goes to here, and again, it comes right down to here. A lot of folks will say, man, why can't they get this thing down further like this one is? Okay. Well, the angle, this side of the wiper originally was hitting here. The other side was up here. They had to get all the way up there. It had to be no bigger than 20 inches. Now, this new wiper arm, I say new, it's not new, came off of a Chevy Lumina, okay? The part number for this, we used a Motormite brand number 42710 for this arm, okay? Now, this arm does a couple of things. One, you can see in park, it's parallel to the bottom of the windshield. It looks a lot better, okay? Two, to replace the refill, I mean, it's like really easy, just like a new car. And three, this refill is bought at Walmart, okay? This is a 31-22, so this is a 22-inch blade. The original one was a 52-20, which was a 20-inch blade. So for you guys that have an original arm, and you're going to stay with it, your original blade and refill is an Anco brand. Now, everything really, Anco is just about the only manufacturer that makes all these specialty parts. Anco 52-20 is your original arm or your original blade and refill. 5320 is just the refill. I don't know if I've ever seen the refill. 52-20, which is the original one, which is all of this, okay? And there's nothing wrong with the original. It works, it's fine, okay? But if you're saying, like the guy said, well, why is this thing parked in the middle of my windshield? All right. Putting this Chevy Lumina has this dog leg in here, okay? It allows it to go, actually, because of the dog leg, it allows it to go further in this position and allows it to park over here. Right? You say, well, how do I get it to do that? All right. On the end of each one of your wiper arms is an acorn nut, right? Now this acorn nut, this is a nut. This acorn nut is a special nut that you have because it is not a grade 8 nut, because as you can see, the shaft is sliced on either side. So there are only threads here. The original acorn nut that comes on your coach is not a hardened nut, because if it were and you tighten down too much, you strip this thing out, okay? So the original acorn nut is actually a very, very unique nut. One, it's soft nut, so it'll strip out and you replace it. Number two, they did not want to have somebody put just a regular nut on it, so they made the thread kind of unusual. The thread is a 3/8 24. So it's an unusual thread, right? At Co-op, we used to buy them by the box, and we'd buy them in acorn nuts, kind of like this one right here, okay? You can probably go online and find a 3/8 24 acorn nut, stainless steel, just like that, okay? And if you can, well, that's what it takes, right? This side just has a plain nut on it, stainless steel nut. Now, when I take this off, pull out the washer tube, or it comes right off. Okay. Say, well, that's pretty cool. How's this work? Remember I told you about the slot on each side? That gives the torque to turn this little spacer. The spacer is a splined steel spacer that in the middle is a slot. Okay. Now, if you pull your wiper arm off and you say, well, all this here is a slotted shaft, look inside here because it may have stuck inside. This is a very important little part. If you don't have it, the spacer number is a 47-16 ANCO. That's this little part right here, 47-16. This one's pretty much froze in there. I'm going to leave it in there. Okay, but you can see it's got a shaft here. Now, the nut, the original nut that's on there, is a soft nut so you won't strip these splines out. This nut that I'm using is a stainless steel, probably grade 5. And if I tighten that thing down too much, it'll rip out that thing. When that happens, then you have to replace the whole, they call it a transmission. Okay? So, if you don't have that spline, you got your number. Another thing about another feature on your original wiper arm is right in the middle where the screw and bolt is a washer, a squirter for your washers. Well, the new one has a flat arm, okay? But this squirter right here, okay, is a ANCO number 48-13. It's from, believe it or not, a Mopar, okay? But with this on here, it will clip onto this flat arm and then move up and down depending on where you want it to squirt. All right, so you've got that part number. Okay, now modification to go from Illumina to a GMC. Remember we talked about the taper of this steel spline. Okay, this is soft aluminum. Okay, the idea is you put this on there and you tighten it down, and these splines grab the soft aluminum. But the problem is the hole, the taper here, does not match the hole in the taper here. So this aluminum has to be modified. How do you do that? You use this. This is a step bit, okay? You take a step bit on a screw gun and you put it in here and you resize in here to fit the taper over there, okay? You resize this taper. So when it goes on here, and then you go to tighten it down. Now, when it goes on here, remember it's splines. I can put it up here if I want, but I'm going to put it down here in line with that one, right there. All right. Now, whether you use an original wiper arm or this new one, this is how you adjust them. So the guy that had the question, how do I keep my wiper arm down? Well, this is how you adjust it. So you'll find out if your wiper has moved on that spline, which is possible. And if it is, ANCO built in a way that you could adjust where you wanted it to go. Now, remember we said that this shaft is cut, so you got to be careful on how tight you do. Plus, we want the splines of that steel thing to bite into the soft aluminum. So you loosen it a little, you wiggle it, and you tighten it. Tighten it down, loosen a little, wiggle it. What we're trying to do is to get those steel splines to dig into the soft aluminum and to put it right where we want it. See, it slipped a little bit. See how it slipped down? Let me loosen this. Put it back up where I want it. Right there. And tighten it down. Loosen, tighten. Loosen, wiggle, and tighten. Now, also, after you do this, after about 6 weeks, you may want to come back and do this again, okay? Now, the squirter right here you got the tube, squirter, hooks into there, and there you go. Okay, new Lumina wiper arm really fits the lines of the coach much better. Also, it goes all the way to the corner. As you can see, this angle allows it to go a little bit further over. Okay, this is a 22-inch arm as opposed to a 20-inch arm, so when it comes down, real close right there. Very nice. All right, so this is the answer. You know, we say we want to keep it as original as possible, but believe me, if you put one of these in, somebody's going to look at that and say, wow, that looks really nice. Okay? All right. So I hope this answers the question. All right, and whether you use an electric motor here or whether you continue to use the hydraulic, the transmission of the arms, if you want to know if there's any problem with the transmission, watch right here, and I move this up and down. See how that moves? It is very little hesitation. That means that all the joints in the system are good. There's little pivots up in here, 2 or 3 of them, but that can tell you that your system is in good shape. Again, don't over tighten this, because if you tear this out, Bubba, we got trouble. Okay. All right. Well, look. Thank you for your time. If you felt that this was of any value to you, please hit like and share and subscribe and all that stuff over on YouTube and on Patreon. After you watch it, if you watch it on YouTube, great. Go over on Patreon, watch it again. Hit like. That kind of tells me, say, hey, Jim, I was here. Thanks, man. Just hit like there. It makes me feel good to get a couple of people to hit like. And then if you have a comment about what I talked about or anything like that, write in the comments right there on the Patreon site that this video was on. That way I can get it quicker. I can answer your questions and we can move on from there. Right? Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about this grill. All right. So let's do this. Let's put the grill on. Let's get these up. Now this is a 73. The previous owner had made this little prop. And this is the prop that we like. All right. Now, spring. These are the springs. You can get them at any hardware store. You get 4 of these springs. All right. Now, as you see here, this is the front of the grill. This is the back. And what I've done is right here, I drilled a hole in the back side right here. You can see right there. And then I've got one right here. Let me put this one in. Right there. All right. So we got 2 springs there, 2 springs on this side. All right. I'm going to pick this thing up. Now these grills are ABS plastic, and they're very fragile. They crack. The original brackets that held them pulled through. They had brass inserts. Really went to heck. So having a way to hold this original grill in here, and if you get an aftermarket, if you get a new grill, I would not use the original brackets because they will actually pull out. They don't work. So we're gonna put this in. Reach in here. I've got a spot on my radiator core support. Oh, let me get this other one in here. Right there. Right there. Come over here. Right there. And it looks like I dropped off the 4th one. I'll find it. Oh, here it is. Here it is, right here. 4th grill, 4th spring. Down here at the bottom. And well, you get the idea. Holds 4 screws and holds that grill in there. And then we can go on. So, giving you all the part numbers for all the pieces. Oh, by the way, in a previous video, we were talking about this wiper motor. Some of you folks have gone to the electric wiper motor, and there's no problem at all, except for the wiper motor itself is weatherproof, not waterproof. The rest of it's just about bulletproof. But the part number for the wiper motor for the electric system is a 40-192. Okay. All right, so you've got all the parts. If you have any questions about putting this together for yourself, let me know. The only real unusual piece you're going to need is a taper bit or a step bit. That's about it. Thank you for your time. Thanks for everything, and let's do some more. See you next time.